In this video, you will hear from Yazan. When I do my research, in addition to speaking with the management, I also like to speak with other investors. And so in this video, you're going to have the opportunity to hear the thoughts from another investor, how he became aware of this idea, and how he views it and why he likes it.
I'm gonna go through a bit of a journey that I've had with this company, which started, I believe, November 2020, in the middle of COVID. And this opportunity came across. So just by background, I've been in the market, in the capital markets, for over 15 years, and we're a family office. We operate. We've got an office in Vancouver, and we have an office in Dubai, in the Middle East. So this opportunity came across from a common broker that is trusted, and at the time that it came across, I said, this sounds very novel, very interesting, but I'd like to kind of, I'm a guy that have been in the market for long enough to know that in order to understand anything, you got to meet management. So, and hence, I think, again, thanks to Mariusz for, having this set up. So we did a couple of Zoom calls, and then Ofer and Abe actually did a trip to our office in Vancouver in the middle of COVID, and to me, that speaks a lot of volume, because again, people that trust what they have are willing to kind of go the extra step. So it was one of those first kind of really interesting points, that when they were at bench scale, when they were at a lab scale, they're just they show you how they can process heavy oil into lighter oil. And that's what triggered my interest, because in the middle of COVID, I don't know if people recall now, but in the middle of COVID, oil dropped to negative prices. And to me, everyone that I know in the oil industry were, trying to figure out a solution. And here's this company that can literally increase the value. And this is, again, my opinion. It's not the company's, but it's going to increase the value of heavy oil, call it by $10 to $14 by eliminating diluent. So, again, from a standpoint of, I look at the business opportunity, and from a standpoint of a business opportunity, here's a company that's proposing a solution that is almost a bolt-on to a refinery or to the existing operation. I'm not going to talk to the chemistry or to how it's done, because there are way smarter people in Aduro to address that. But you can literally bolt it on to the existing infrastructure, and you can save, as I said, $10 to $14. Just so everyone understands, Canada today, just Canada, imports every day 750,000 barrels of diluent, just in order to get their heavy oil across from Canada to the US. So this tells you the size, again, why I got excited. Now, obviously, the verticals was another element of excitement, because, Mariusz in his report mentioned the margin of safety. I think it's underestimated how margin of safety is in this play, because to me, as someone that has been around the block, the biggest thing is, what is my downside protection? And I can tell you, it is, in this case, at the current valuation, again, I am talking as an investor, not the company, I don't see any significant risk. Why? Because the value of the IP that has been built over a cross of 11, 12 years is more valuable than the market cap of the company, regardless of how they shape it. So the third element is the TAM, the total addressable market. We're talking about the $200 billion plus of a market between the three verticals. And I think the HBU the HPU, basically the heavy oil, and the plastics are going to be the front and center. I think the plastic side is going to be, because of this deadline, the 2025, is going to create, has already created a lot of traction, and I think it's only going to build up from here. But I also don't want to forget the fact that today we are living in an oil time where $100 is going to be the norm, maybe $80. And what's happening is, again, now if my friends in, if I speak to the guys in Calgary, or the guys in Texas, or the guys in California, they all tell you that the companies in the oil and gas industry who do have plastic problems, and they produce plastics as well, they are looking for solutions for both. If you're able to resolve a problem that Canada doesn't want to wrap their head around, which is moving more heavy oil down to the US with a new pipeline, well, you need to have a solution similar to that of Aduro's. So this is another, cushion to ensure that, there's a lot of demand, a lot of interest here. So to go to, not to kind of bifurcate a lot, at $100 oil, all these oil and gas companies are sitting on a pile of free cash flow that they're producing every day. And all of them have one form or another of an ESG mandate that they need to push forward. So therefore, it is kind of the perfect storm. It's a technology that is ready to be commercialized. It is a technology that is, in my view, the valuation is in sync, not in, the market cap does not reflect what the company should be valued at. And there is a significant amount of value to unlock. Now, I do want to stop for a second to talk about what, Mariusz was talking about, me being in a family office and others pitching us deals. We got pitched the Cielo deal back in the day. And we did look at, I actually reached out to Lysella, which is one of the companies that are mentioned as comparables or potential partners or whatever. And, to go back at the time when Aduro went public, they were at, Aduro was, not too far away from this valuation, 25, 30, it hit the 50 million market cap. And in any case, Cielo went to $1 billion, $1 billion on basically a concept where, when I did my questions to management, I found that they don't own the IP. They've licensed the IP from the founder. I've looked at so many typical issues that I find in, in these quote unquote ESG companies that say we're going to take garbage and turn it into, into money. And all of them kind of seem to be using that same mantra, but in reality, they're not, they don't have the IP, they don't have the, they don't have the scale that they're talking about. They're not operating at a level that they're talking about. So bottom line, you see this, small company that is run by genuine, real people, 20 plus people that are working in it, that are very nimble. And you compare it to everything else and everyone else there. You've got Pure Cycle, 1.4 billion. At the time, Cielo hit $1 billion. Lysella, they wouldn't entertain a check from us for less than $1 million in a private placement at a 1.5 billion AED. So I look at all of that, and to me, even most recently, and people say, oh, well, the market is turbulent. Well, here's my answer to you. It is turbulent, but there are definitely opportunities out there. So if you look at the most recent press release by KBR, which came out about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, KBR is already an investor in Mura Technologies. So KBR, in the middle of this kind of call it drawdown market, have put another $100 million US into Mura to earn another 8% of Mura. in the middle. It closed on June 22nd, so you can go and check that. So again, this market or this business has a lot of opportunity. I'm not gonna say it's recession proof, but it's close to, in my opinion. Again, now I'm gonna talk about something that is really because I mentioned a couple of times genuinity, and why I believe you invest in management and you invest in those that are willing to bet on themselves. So outside of what Mina mentioned about them buying in the open market, buying in the financing, so on, it is a novelty in our business to find someone that, when they went and did their go public, they earn the way they take their shares, they earn their shares. Essentially, 1/3 of the company's shares or Aduro's shares for management were granted upon going public. 1/3 when the company hit third-party validation, which was like about in January of this year. And 1/3 of their shares will be released when they hit commerciality. And there's more, details to that you can see in the listing statement. My point is that I have in the microcap space, I rarely come across management that put, they basically are betting at the same pace of investors. If they don't succeed, they don't get, which to me is not something I see, ever. Like it's a rarity. So that speaks to my point earlier around the genuinity. So, needless to say, I'm a heavy investor. I told Mariusz that I've invested pre-IPO, in the IPO round. I've invested in the 70-cent round. I keep buying the open market, and we're firm believers that this company is about something that is gonna be able to make a meaningful financial as well as social impact. And I think the last thing that I want to wrap up with is one thing that I believe I heard when they were pitching in Montreal. The one differentiator that makes people do things in life is profit. So companies can talk about an ESG platform all they want. If it's not profitable, they wouldn't spend enough, and the cadence and the speed of doing it is not going to be as fast. With Aduro, it is the only model that I know as a technology that is actually plausible to make money off of waste plastic. The rest is literally a donation box. A lot of these companies, they produce fuel and diesel at $4 to $5 per liter, and that is not an economically viable business.
So as part of being a family office and as part of helping get the word out, I've been we've been in talks to introduce the Duro to a few of institutions down in the US in as well as in Canada. And this is really where the opportunity arises. The amount of inbound interest and the amount of people that have vetted this technology, there's a banker, I'm not going to name who, but a well-known banker. They've spent probably a good 8 hours with the team, technical, all that. The only caveat that is missing in Aduro is the market cap. So there's literally like 2 bankers that said, we would have loved to engage with you and put you on roadshow, raise you a lot of money. We need the market cap to be between 100 to 400 million US to do so. So that hints where the opportunity arises. This is the reason why my network has invested a lot of money, because we know that retail and smart money comes in prior to the institutions, and they can make a significant delta between here and the time that institutions can step into a name like Aduro. So it's not a lack of, it's not, we need you to check this box. Some of the smarter money out there were willing and are willing, as early as, Montreal, which I mean, I was talking about. We met with them, we had kind of crossed paths with one of them, and they said, yeah, as soon as you guys are at that market cap, reach out. So as an independent, this is again my opinion based on my interaction, I can tell you that this is how it works. Unfortunately, the way it works is you have to get to a certain market cap for these bigger players to kind of get engaged. So this is on the private side.
Now that you heard what Yazan likes about Aduro, of course, it's time for you to determine on your own if this is an idea that you want to be part in your portfolio, because it's good to hear other people's point of view, but then at the end of the day, you have to, of course, have your own reason why you should own a particular investment.